We're the Whiskey Sippers, and these are 4 bottles that we think are actually worth secondary.
After this.
All right, so we put up a question to our Patreon members on what video they wanted to see us do this month, and this is the one they picked. What are the 4 bottles that we actually think are worth secondary?
Yep.
Now, the secondary prices we're referring to are what they are here in Ohio. When we look on our kind of secondary market, it may be different where you're at. I mean, I don't know. I don't look at other states' secondary
California,
prices.
New York, Chicago.
Right. So this is
Canada, whatever.
This is worth secondary, at least here where we live.
Yeah.
So you want to get started, Devin?
Sure. So I will say, a lot of you know I'm a big Michter's guy. So the Michter's 10-year bourbon. This was my bourbon of the year last year. I mean, especially the 23. After talking to Dan McKee, the master distiller, they're closer to 15 years. So like you're really getting an almost a 13, 14 or so year bourbon. So the MSRP on these is around $180. I really enjoy at least the 23 year or the 23 batch of, not batch, but single barrels, but the 23 Michter's 10-year bourbon. Phenomenal.
What's the secondary on those? 180
it's
MSRP?
MSRP is 180 and then secondary is about 300 to 325. I love it. Love it. Delicious juice. Todd, what do you got?
Okay. So my first one, I am going with Old Forester single barrel 100 proofs, the black labels. I love the barrel proof ones, and they're a lot more easier to come by.
Yeah.
But the black labels to me have more flavor without the burn.
It's just balanced.
It's one of the few bottles I look at and say the higher proof isn't quite as good as the lower proof.
Yeah.
These run around $55 MSRP if you can find them at MSRP, but secondary they're around $100.
Yeah.
And I've bought several right around that $90 to $100 range. To me, they're absolutely worth it, and I love these things. So, to me, that is absolutely worth that secondary price, at least here in our area.
Yeah. All right. Well, diving in, let's see. So I went with the Jack Daniel's 12-year. For 107 proof, 12-year-old Jack Daniels. We were just down there for the International Barbecue event, and for standard price of around 90, but secondary about 180 in our area. I feel like this has so much flavor, delivers like just beyond a lot of other bourbons in that 90, 100 plus proof, whatever range. And it is just very good. I mean, he's a Jack Daniels guy.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't as much early on, but let me tell you, this 12-year, 10-year stuff is very good at that like $180 range. So like even then, if you want to spend a little bit more than that $90 MSRP, I think the 12-year age-dated Jack Daniels is just, you can see the color on it. I mean, it's quite good.
Yeah. So I also picked Jack 12. Last year's
Ta-da!
batch. Last year, Jack Daniel's 12 batch 1 came in second for my whiskey of the year, and it was around $90 MSRP here, and like Devin said, it's about 180 secondary around us, and to me it's worth it. 107 proof, 12-year, amazing drinker. There's just nothing not to like about it. So yeah, I picked that one as well.
All right. Well, I'm sure we're both gonna have this one on our list, and I'm sure everyone else, if they've had it and they're able to get one, I would highly recommend the Russell's 15. So damn good. I mean, it's $150, which is steep to begin with, but when you add that secondary, or that's what I mean, $250. Whatever. But $250 for 117.2 proof. Like look at the color on that. I mean, it is as of right now, it is our front runner for whiskey of the year. It is so good. If you're able to get one, I recommend it. And the thing is, like, it competes with that George C. Stagg level. We are like, well, George C. Stagg is $700, $800, whatever else, but this is half that at $400 secondary. I mean, this really is. I don't want to say in a class of its own, but like for what it is for that secondary price, I feel like if they had less volume of what they put out from a Wild Turkey, this would be a $1,000 bottle.
Yeah, I agree.
But because they put out so much of it, everyone is able to get it easier than if it was only like a BTAC kind of level thing. So, But this is phenomenal juice, and I really enjoy it. I love sipping on it. Like, damn.
I wish it was
Chef's
easier to
kiss.
do. Yeah, sure. So, I agree. Russell's 15 was my next bottle. 250 MSRP. In Ohio, they were actually going for $375 on secondary, and they're absolutely worth $375 on secondary. And like you said, this is as good as like the GTS, some of the other stuff I've had, the WLW, and those are much higher than the 375, 400 secondary. So to me, this is the bottle to go get this year. It's the bottle to get.
It's like a brown sugar Luxardo cherry bomb.
Yeah, it's
with
amazing.
Just oak and tobacco and just
And it's one where I don't like paying secondary price for any. I don't like paying that much. Like $250 for a bottle to me is there's very few bottles I'm willing to really pay that much for, but this is worth it. It's that good. Yeah.
Pretty good.
What's your last one, David?
All right, my last one. I'm a big fan of the Four Roses limited edition. This is a 2022. I've yet to try the 2024, the new one that came out. I've heard mixed reviews on it. I've had the 2023. It was really good. But for me, the 2022 has a big sentimental thing for me, with me and my wife going out and trying to hunt it, finally getting it, and then I just think it's really good. And at 180 or 100, that one that came out, 180 MSRP. Now it's like 220 for the new releases. But even then, they're around like $300 secondary, and for usually around 15, 20 year, 16, 14 years, sometimes 12 year juice in the blend. I think this is one of the most slept on limited edition releases that is offered every year. I mean, you've got birthday bourbon at like 100 and about around the same price point, but it goes for
$900,
$600, $700, and it's like 96, 100 and some proof. I mean, I feel like these have been consistently very good and overlooked. So the Four Roses limited editions, usually for me every year, are kind of like I really want to get some of these. So I want Four Roses.
So for me, the last one, the distillery people are always after is Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
To me, the best value on secondary for Buffalo Trace is a Stagg Junior. Or Baby Stagg, whatever you want to call them. Yeah. Now, this may not go for every release. Last year's 23C wasn't that great. 23A and B were pretty good. But like the 15, the 18, the 17, the 22A are all absolutely amazing. And around us, they go for around 170 secondary. So to me, they're worth that, right? Yeah. I mean, they're $50 MSRP, hard to find them at that. 170 for some of those non-23 releases. I think they're worth the secondary price. To me, they're fantastic.
Yeah. I've never had a Stagg that I was like, this is terrible. I'm always like,
even the bad ones are good. Yeah, even the ones that are lesser are still really good. Yeah. So yeah, to me, that's if you're going to get a Buffalo Trace, like one of the harder to find Buffalo Trace bottles in secondary, this is the one to go for.
Yeah. So let us know what you think of our list. I know there was a couple of repeats, but I mean, we have similar palates and we do a lot of hunting together, and I think we kind of know what we like, and we seem to enjoy the same kind of things for the most part. I mean, there's a couple outliers and all that, but let us know what you think is a good value to secondary price. If there's something that in here you're like, you totally forgot about this one, you got to totally recommend that one. I'm like, well, let me know, because I want to know what one of the best ones is for secondary if I have to find something. So
and please like and subscribe. Help us on our way to 1,000 right now. We're getting pretty close. So join our community and just let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Until then, remember, the best bourbon or whiskey is
apparently the one you like the most right here. All right. Cheers, guys.
All right.
See ya. Thank you.
See ya.